Hi, good morning, everyone. So today we start off the session now, and today Anjana is going to start the session. So Anjana, can you start?
Yeah, sure.
Good morning, ma'am. Am I audible? Nishant this side.
Yeah, Nisha.
Ma'am, actually, I just need 5 minutes help for the programming assignment. Today is the last day, so can I discuss for 5 minutes and then we can go with the vacate?
What is the question?
A problem is that I'm able to run the code on my laptop, but while running the code on this assignment ID, it's throwing error. So just to have
So
a
just go through all the discussions that have happened in the discourse forum, because I don't think we can help you any more than that. In the sense that almost all the possible problems that can come up in the framework, right? In the sense that the output format, the logic of the code, almost all these things have been discussed on the discourse forum. Please go through every thread. And if you have a problem, please share your connection string and that code in the discourse forum, and then we'll take it from there.
I've seen. Sorry to say, actually, went through all those code because I was struggling for the test assignment as well and this graded assignment as well. I went through. See, everything is working fine, but just not sure. Only those data error is throwing. Sorry, data error. I'm just telling. If you can allow me to 5 minutes, I can share my screen and show you that.
Not today, Nishant. Please post in the discourse, because otherwise, if everyone starts discussing the issues in this, I mean, right now, and there are technical problems. Like we said, we will discuss it here. There is no problem. But if you want to do that, I would suggest that you can just wait for half an hour until Anjana finishes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, no problem.
Anjana will finish it in half an hour or so. After that, we'll start taking up the queries. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Yeah, Anjana, please.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. So, myself, Anjana Bura, I'm one of the course instructors. So, today we'll start with some of the questions, and then if any of you have any doubt in the activity questions, you can please ask. Okay. Ma'am, actually, I'm not able to share the screen.
Let me check 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll just ping Ravi. Just give me a second, okay?
Yeah.
Anjana, can you try now?
Yeah. Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So, I'd want all of you to go to the Menti. I'll share the link. Yeah.
Anjana, can you speak a little louder?
Hello? Yeah, am I audible, ma'am? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, can you please go on to the Menti and use this code, or I have also shared the link. So, can you please go there? Okay. So, shall I start? I guess by now all of you are pretty much familiar with the Menti. Okay, I'll start then. So please answer.
Anjana, is this a text-based question?
Yeah,
Text
right. Yeah, right. Okay, so I'll start the countdown. It is for 1 minute. Ten seconds left. Okay, so yeah, the voting is closed. Okay. In linear data structure. Okay, can any one of you unmute yourselves and explain the answers? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, it's audible.
Yeah, so whatever you have answered, can you please explain?
Yes, ma'am. In a linear data structure, the memory locations are continuous, like in arrays, stacks, queues we are having.
Yeah, right.
Where maximum two memory locations are connected together. In case of nonlinear data structure, more than two memory locations can be connected, like we see the linked list, ordered trees, or graphs. So the advantage in linear data structure, if you want to traverse the memory location, you need to access it serially. But
Yeah,
in
correct.
case of non-linear data structure, you can access it randomly. That is the main advantage with non-linear.
Correct, correct. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Non-linear data structure hit the sweet spot between all operation in terms of, can you please explain whoever answered this one?
Yeah, good morning, madam. This is Sandeep.
Good morning.
I wrote that comment because I thought
Okay.
that justifies the difference between linear and non-linear data structure. I think linear data structure performs one of the operations pretty great. Like if we talk about one linear data structure like array, you can
Yeah.
access any data point, you can access any element in constant time, but as far as inserting and deleting an
Yeah.
element is concerned, it takes linear time. So
Yeah.
in one operation it is very good, and in but the other operation it's very bad.
Exactly.
What nonlinear data structure does, it brings them together and hits the sweet spot. One of the operations will get a little worse, but the other operation will get much better. So we'll hit the sweet spot between maybe insertion and accessing a data.
Okay. 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 Does anybody else have any other point regarding the difference between linear and non-linear data structure? Because all I can see is the types of linear data structure in
One question I'm having to the students, like how do we differentiate, like this is a linear data structure or non-linear data structure? Suppose we have given with a data structure. Right now we do not know which kind of data structure it is. So by which we can understand it is linear or non-linear? So anyone?
So non-linear data structure typically has pointers to more than one element in the data structure. And like in a
See, like
BST, it will have.
I am using a linked list. So maybe it's a two-way linked list, like doubly linked list. So that's each node supposed to have two pointers, no more than one pointers.
Sir, in that scenario, it contains the address of the data where it is want to point. So two pointers will be involved. Instead
Can
of
you repeat
pointing,
again?
actually, in that scenario, as you are giving example of two pointers, not doubly linked list.
Yeah.
So here what happens, instead of giving value of that parameter, we give its location.
Okay, let me
So-
ask the question in a different way. Suppose you are implementing a binary tree and doubly linked list. In both the cases, like in a doubly linked list, we are having previous and next two pointers. And in a binary tree node also, you are having a left pointer and right pointer. But in case of binary tree, we are calling it as a
binary, because on the right hand side we give the higher weight, the values are more in binary tree. We follow some strategy while defining the binary tree. So the values which are more are generally put in on the right
can
hand
you
side.
can you define it like the number of elements preceding and number of elements are following in terms of that?
I won't be able to give that kind of definition, but I think
So
what
is
are
it some
the
kind of thing like for a linear data structure, we'll have at most preceding and at most one
yes,
following nodes or the elements, where in
yes,
case of non-linear, we can have more.
yeah, that can be the different values. In case of nonlinear, we can select that. You can creating binary tree, we first arrange it in a descending order
A
and we start
binary
with the middle
tree,
values.
like we can have one parent, that is the preceding,
Yes,
and
sir.
two children,
Correct.
that's
Yeah.
basically two following, right? So
Yes, sir.
that's maybe a better way to differentiate between them, right?
Yes, correct.
And like what will take linear or a linear data structure or a non-linear data structure for implementation? It's basically implementation specific. So if we have to perform a search, then we'll go for something else. If we have to do sorting, maybe we'll go for something else. Maybe if you have to do more concern is storing, that's insert and delete, maybe we can go for some other kind of data structure. So it's basically the choice is implementation specific. That's the thing. Yeah, I'm done from my side.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so I guess and does anybody have any other issues? Any other doubt? Okay, so please go to the next slide and answer. If you are familiar with the complexity, with the time complexity and the big O notation, then it is a pretty simple question. So I'll start the countdown. Okay, so the voting is closed. Okay, yeah. Okay, can anyone unmute themselves and please explain why it is order of 1?
Because every time we give an input, whether it's small or large, we will get it instantly in order of one time. So it's actually much faster.
Okay, yeah, correct. So it's a constant runtime, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Okay, anybody else? Does anybody have any doubt regarding this question? I am audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so I guess none of you have any doubts. Okay, so we'll move to the next question. Thank you, Mahak. Yeah. This is also a, sorry. Yeah. This is also a pretty easy question if you have gone through the data structure, the linear and non-linear data structure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So this is the correct answer. Please unmute yourself, anybody, and please explain why stack is a linear data structure and why tree, graph, or hash table is not a linear data structure. Hello? I'm audible, right?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, sir. Can anybody unmute themselves?
I think only in stack we are storing the data in the order of sequence they are coming in.
Yeah.
For all the other data structures, the position at which the element will be stored are based on their values.
Right. So in non-linear, they are not stored in a sequential order, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another way also, like stack can be implemented using array or linked list, which are necessarily like that linear data structure only.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir. Okay. So we'll move to the next question then. Yeah. So this is regarding the binary search tree. If you have gone through the binary search tree, so this is also a very easy question. So I'll start the countdown now. Okay, I guess all of you have voted by now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the value of each node in the left subtree is less than the value. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Can you please explain anybody by unmuting yourself why these are the answers and not the B and C?
Hi, good morning. We branch from a node,
Okay.
keeping the strategy that left side should be lesser than the node and right side should be greater than the node.
Okay. That is how we identify the binary search tree, right?
Yes.
Can you also tell me one more criteria which is required for a binary search tree? Like you are correct with the left subtree and the right subtree. One more criteria is there. Can you tell?
I think there cannot be duplicate values in the binary search.
Exactly. Yeah, correct. Okay, thank you. Okay, so then we'll move to the next question. Yeah. This is also a pretty simple question, so I'll start the countdown. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, data about data. So can you please tell me why metadata is not information or record entries? Can anybody please tell? And why it is data about data? Anybody can unmute themselves?
It's kind of schema about the how data has to be organized. I mean, data is not filled, is keeping a record of how things will be there, like in the table and all.
Okay, can you
But
give
the
me an
actual,
example about metadata?
Like how much?
yes,
Okay.
it's like the schema of the table you can correlate with.
Okay. Yeah, Mehak, you were saying something?
It's like how much storage space it's taking, how the storage is organized, and
Yeah,
physical design basically.
yeah, right. Absolutely correct.
No, if
Okay.
it is an image, we can say the number of rows and number of columns of pixels and the size of each pixel. That can be the metadata. It is the information about the data.
Yeah, exactly. The information about the data, that is metadata, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll move to the next question. So this is regarding linked list, and it is also a pretty simple one. So I'll start the countdown. Okay, so the time is up. Yeah. Okay. Can you please tell me why it is not the node before the middle node or after the first node or after the middle node? Can anybody please unmute themselves and tell me why it is the node before the last node?
Because the node before the last node will point towards the last node. That's how we will know the position, and then we can just remove the last node and change the pointer to something else.
Can you please tell me what will be that something else?
That will be none in computer.
Yeah, it will be null. Exactly. Okay, can you tell me one more thing? How we can find the last node of a linked list? Can you tell me? How will you know basically that this node is a last node?
And maybe wherever the link is pointing towards none, So the link will be last node.
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Pointer to the link which is showing null.
Exactly.
That particular link will be the
Last.
Yes, the one which is showing null.
Yeah, which is pointing towards null, right?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
that we have to iterate till we reach the end node. Like it will
Yeah.
take.
Yeah, we'll have to traverse through the entire linked list.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Can we add, ma'am, here something? This.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, this question is very that a special type of that when the node we are deleting from the end.
Yeah.
But if what will happen if the node is deleting from the somewhere it is between, then we need to know the two node.
Yeah, right.
One, yeah. And to search first, there is the entire process is there. First, we have to find that node.
Yeah.
And to finding the node, we have to start from the beginning of the node designed.
Yeah,
So
the beginning of the linked list.
Yeah, and we will traverse through that with condition
hello?
and everything. Since it is the last, then there is a two way of the finding this. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm telling. Since it is the last one, there is a two way to finding the last node.
Yeah.
Either we can through the condition we can find because anyhow we have to iterate from the beginning to end.
Exactly.
So we have to search every time our value is matching or not.
Yeah.
And the value is given. And since it is the end, so another way is there also we can say that if next to next node is not, if null, then we reach that.
Yeah, exactly. Ultimately, what it is that the address field of a particular node, if it points to a null value, then it is the last node, right?
That's yeah. So otherwise, if value is given, then we can go through that the condition also.
Yeah.
And if this node is in middle, then we need to two node to know that.
Yeah, the node before that key node and the node after that key node, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. We have to know the address.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the thing from myself. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Kumar. Okay. So, any doubt regarding this question? Anybody? Okay. Okay. So I'll move to the next question then. Yeah. Okay. So only 3 people voted. Okay. Anyways. Sorry. Hello. Okay. So can anybody, can the one who voted for cache, can they unmute themselves and tell why cache is a non-volatile storage medium? I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So why cache is a non-volatile storage medium?
Cache is a volatile storage.
Exactly. Yeah. Cache is a volatile storage medium. Okay. So, can anybody unmute themselves and tell me the basic difference between optical storage and magnetic tape? The basic difference. Both of them are non-volatile, right? But what is the basic difference between both of them? Anybody? Anybody have any idea, or do they know? Anybody? Okay. So optical storage basically has direct access, and magnetic tape has sequential
Serial
access.
access.
Sequential access. So can you tell the difference between sequential access and direct access? Anybody?
And direct access is a random access. We can go to the required sector and read that data.
Directly.
In sequential, we need directly. And in case of sequential, you need to travel all previous location in order to reach that location.
Yeah, we have to traverse through the entire from the very beginning, right?
Very beginning. Every time you need to go to beginning and then you reach to the destination. That is,
Yeah.
you cannot jump from one location to another location.
That happens in direct.
Direct,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Yeah. So this is the last question. So please answer. Please go ahead.
After this, please explain about optical and magnetic again.
Optical and magnetic tape, right? Yes. Yes. Okay. I guess all of you have voted by now. If there are 8. Okay, I'll stop the voting then. Okay, yeah. Can anybody tell why SSD or HDD is not a cloud storage, does not use cloud storage? And what do they use if they don't use cloud storage? Anybody?
As written in the lecture, that cloud storage actually we take buy from the service provider, and very few cloud storage is there like the Google, Amazon, Azure, and Dropbox. Out of that, one was the Dropbox.
Okay, yeah. Can you tell the Microsoft one, the Azure one? Sorry.
Yeah,
what is the name? OneDrive, right?
Azure, yeah, Azure.
Yeah, that is OneDrive by Microsoft Azure.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody have any doubt in this question?
Actually, no idea of the complete the scenario of that cloud situation, but this is just as information.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, do you have any doubt in this?
Doubt means okay. Doubt means in the itself as that what is the actually the cloud and the things actually how it's work. Otherwise, it is fine information because that is the online Dropbox and the rest of thing is the on the our pen drive, hard disk or anything. It is the with me only. It is the single device, not connected to the internet or anything.
Okay, this pen drive SSD HDD, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the kind of embedded which we can access without net.
Okay. So, Arup sir, would you like to explain?
Is there any specific question about it? I didn't get what is the question.
So he is asking what basically is cloud, what happens there?
Cloud storage is basically a shared storage, right? So it's having a location, what we said, location transparency. Like it could be at any location, it could be any number of data server, but it's look like on demand. Whenever you want to store on the net, you can get it and you store your data on the net, right? So that's the idea behind the cloud storage. It's an on-demand storage on the net. So it is shared by a different number of clients. It gives a location transparency, like it could be anywhere, it could be accessed from anywhere and anytime. So that's another thing, is availability kind of thing. Now, as like Kumar already told the answer, like the Dropbox is only a thing, like we do not know actually where is the server and how many servers are there and exactly in which server my data is going to be stored. So everything is having a transparent. So everything is hidden from us, rather, I'll say. But whenever we look at pen drive, SSD, and HDD, so there basically belongs to me. So it's doesn't need any internet connection to store my data into it. That's the point. But if you think in that way, like how the Dropbox or any cloud device is implemented, maybe their data server got created with the hard disks and other like kind of storage devices only. But whenever we just say about a pen drive or a SSD or HDD, it's basically the local which we have it. So we doesn't need any internet connectivity or cloud for getting data stored into it.
Yeah.
Does it make sense, Kumar? Like, is it the thing you're asking?
Yes, sir. If someday, if you will get the time after the class, then can you explain in the little detail that what's actually main difference between the central type of database and cloud type of database?
Okay, sure. At the end, I'll explain that.
Okay, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
The
please.
storage area network and this cloud, are they same?
Storage area network, not exactly. Rather, I can say it's a type. So I'll be specific whenever I'll discussing at the end.
Okay, sir. Fine.
Okay.
So I also have a question regarding this.
Yeah,
if you
please.
can respond to that. Like in we learned that DBMS, we take care of redundancy. Is there a same kind of mechanism for cloud storage? Like if you want
No, rather in cloud storage, it is completely different. In cloud storage, rather we need a little bit of redundancy because it increases the tolerance. Tolerance in the sense some server is down, so the availability of the data will go off, right? So if it is redundant, means it is stored also in some other server. From there we can fetch our data, right? So it ensures the availability. Some server is down, the data got destroyed in that some server, or you cannot connect with certain server in certain country. So maybe another server with the same information available in another country. So maybe the redundancy in the cloud environment little intended, right? Because it gives a high tolerance against the kind of deletion of data or non-availability of the network connection, etc., right? So that's
No, sir, I understand that part. I was talking about a different scenario. Like, for instance, take this example. We were, me and my family members, we were all in a wedding ceremony, and we had a video of the wedding ceremony, and we all individually stored that video, same video, in a cloud storage like Dropbox or G Drive. Will the cloud storage store these videos separately, like 15 copies of that, or it will store like 2 or 3 copies for the purpose you just talked about? And whenever I wanted to download the file, it will just direct me to that file that maybe my wife has uploaded.
the first point is it depends on the strategy followed by the ISP. Sorry, not cloud service provider, CSP, right? So now normally they basically takes case to case, deal it with a case to case. Rather than I'll taking the question in that way, like for each person there will be a copy. Most probably it will be for each person there will be a separate copy, because mostly the computer cannot make difference like your copy is same as what I am loading, because after few day I may try to do some kind of modification in my image. Maybe I want to do some kind of brightness change or something. So if it is the same copy, it will be reflected on your copy also. So then that may not be the idea, but how the copies will be stored, I can give some idea. So one idea could be like it is a single server or a data server where your data is stored. One idea could be like in the single server, or sorry, in the multiple server, one copy will be stored, or it could be like different part of the same thing will be stored on different server. That could be another serious scenario. But what your question is, for each person the copy will be saved separately. I'm not very sure because it depends on the CSP, but my idea it has to be saved as a separate copy, because individual credentials is one concern. Because if I want to give my credential, then I'll access my copy only. And secondly, uh, one way to one logic why it has to be different, because someday you want to make some changes, it has to be reflected on your copy, not on other copies. But again, I'm repeating, I don't know what method the CSP follows.
So may I just come in?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I remember in one of the earlier lectures, I'm not sure if it is in DBMS or MAD, the professor had mentioned that when multiple files are the same copies of the same are stored in multiple files in multiple people's Google Drive, then only the hash value of that file is shared. So they need to keep only one or two copies.
That's for, I think, sharing. Like the when we share a particular file with somebody, rather than a copy goes to his drive or her drive, we send a hash or a reference kind of thing to their drive, not the copy. I think that is the idea. I'm not exactly sure like how the copies goes, but that's my
Sir,
idea is.
Okay.
can I add something?
Yeah,
sir?
please.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure about the algorithm, but seeing the practical scenario, something I have a thought on that. There was as the Mr. George told right now, that when we sharing, that time it is the good instead of copy sharing the hash, and it's same behave like that list type of thing. So the entire data will be some places. Instead of sending someone data, better I can send address to that data so anyone can access. So that is the one scenario for the last question. And the previous question, that if the three different person is the saving the same data on the cloud, so it should be taken as one copy by the server or the different copy. It is the question, no?
Yeah, that was.
Okay, so I think, sir, if I see that before the 6 year or 10 years back, then it was, if 3 person is saving the data, then three copy will be saved individually in the different places. But nowadays, as I'm taking example of the Google, so if before saving the entire video on the server, if somehow company has the written algorithm and they converted the video on the some encrypted form or something, and they match that this particular video is already existing on the before server, then they can just address the put the hash and give the only one copy will keep, and rest of thing will be shared as the address. Only it is possible if before saving the video, the video is going to encrypted or decrypted by some algorithm, and they fetch the data from the earlier. And I think that this is the way they are doing with the YouTube, because if we copy some particular thing from somewhere in YouTube and we put that, Google very fastly say that it is the copy paste or violated. Means how can it possible? Means they are fetching the internal data of the YouTube with the other. So they have, if they have developed this type of algorithm to convert the video entire in the some data and fetching the data, in that case, there if three different person is putting only one video, three different places, and on the same server, then it will taken as the one.
Yeah, understanding it is the same content, it's quite possible, as you told, like they have to just take the hash. If the hash hashes are matching, means the contents are exactly same. So instead of creating a new copy, they can maintain the same copy. But what I'm saying, I do not know exactly how they deal with.
Yes,
may
yes.
possible they save a single copy, and whenever I need to do some kind of modification, they fork a new copy on which the modification could be done. So what I'm saying, it's entirely depends on the CSP, the cloud service provider.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah,
That's
that's the answer is. Yeah, please go ahead.
What's the difference between SSD and HDD?
Do you want to answer?
So please, so you can go ahead, sir.
Okay. So
Arup,
yeah, please.
can I just interrupt for a minute? So
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to address Nishant's question. So Nishant is on still here? Nishant?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Sorry. I know.
Yeah.
I thought we could wind up in 30 minutes is what I thought. I'm sorry. Kept you. So are you the one who have given? So Angela, just one second. Angela, can you just stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nishant, I just wanted to know, like, have you posted in Discord? Like, I saw one query from you. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what. Actually, I've shared 3 days back also as ma'am, before the programming assignments got shared.
Okay.
But I didn't get the answer.
Yeah. So why do you think that the answer that you have given is correct? When you worked it offline, you have got an answer, right? Why do you think that is right?
Yes.
Why do you think that is right? I mean, in the sense that just go back. We have seen your answer, and there is something wrong with the answer. Okay.
Can I share my screen for a minute, ma'am? Please, if you can guide me.
No. The answer, the screenshot that you have given, that itself shows that what you have done is wrong. Okay, you understand?
Yeah. So what? Can you guide me? What went wrong?
No, read the no, because it's a graded assignment question, right? Is it correct?
Ma'am, just if I can give a hint. See,
Yeah,
there will
yeah,
be certain conditions which you might have missed while writing the code, and whatever output you are getting in your local machine based on the query which you have given to the code, which will fetch you the result in the PG admin 4 based on the query you have written. But if that query is not as per the question, then while running in the portal, it will throw definitely an error.
No.
So
That could be a
Nishant,
possible reason.
there are many ways in this can happen. Okay, the first thing could be the connection string is wrong. The database connection string is wrong, but you've got it correct there, and so I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know whether that is right or not, but that is first thing you have to check. Second thing, you may think that the answer that you have got in your program is correct because you get some solution. I have seen many people posting the discourse that I get it correctly there, but I'm not getting it here. That doesn't mean that what you've got in your offline working is correct. Okay. The third thing is the formatting of your output. You have to see whether, because this is a string comparison, unlike the query comparison where we were just comparing the result sets. Here it is a string comparison. So you have to stick to exactly the format that we have given. Now I have given you all the 3 points. Just go back and check. We have confirmed, we have checked your output. You have given the screenshot. We have checked it and we have verified, and we've seen that there is something wrong with your output format.
Okay.
Now in fact, I was doing that in the back end. I checked that there is something wrong. Again, after the session, I will again go back and see. And if I find that something that was wrong from my side, I will just definitely inform you.
Okay, ma'am. So it is okay. You are talking about the program graded assignment. Can I talk for the non-graded assignment for a minute?
You are not able to get it even for practice assignment, is it?
Yeah, that's what the problem is with the practice. I was actually, that's why I posted late. So I am facing issue with the practice assignment as well. If you can help me with that, I can share my.
So see, if you're talking about the code for practice assignment, right? If you want to share the code for practice assignment, to be honest, I don't want to encourage that because we've already given the solution code for the practice assignment. Yesterday afternoon, like 1 o'clock or something, we've released the resolution for the practice assignment because we said that we will release it 2 days before, but we have released 1.5 days before. Okay?
Yeah, correct.
So yesterday afternoon, you can that code you can see, you can compare it with your code. Okay, that is the first thing. Secondly, if you want to share the debug, like the output, I mean the error code that you're getting, the error message that you're getting, you can share that. But I think that will only show that it is incorrect code. Is it correct?
Yeah, it's see, ma'am. Actually, incorrect code is one thing, but along with that, it is also showing the none type object has no attribute clause. So I'm wondering
that in all probability is because the database. See, I saw that your DB name is DVD rental, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
so
right.
I am assuming that your FlissDB is also something that you have loaded into that. The tables you have loaded into DVD rental.
Yes.
So I hope there is no hard coding or anything that you've done in your code. You're just taking the database name via the command line argument. I'm just hoping that there is no way the DB is pointing to something else which is not there.
So ma'am, I compared with the assignment solution which you have given over the shared drive along with my practice assignment. It is approximately same. I'm not able to differentiate the
So
difference.
let me just suggest you something. You just copy that code that we have given, just try to submit on the framework, and then try to modify it one line by line as you have done it, and see where it is, where it starts to throw the error.
Okay, I will again do that, ma'am, and I will post on the chat. Today is the last day. I'm sorry, but I'm just pushing for the last day. That's what I mean.
I understand. I totally understand. Yeah, Bhaskar, yeah.
Yeah, so the practice assignment that you have posted on Discord,
Yeah,
I would give you the hint again that please check your output. Read the question properly. I see the practice assignment output also and the graded assignment output also. Both of them has some problem with respect to reading the question. Read the question very properly, that what should be the proper output format. Now, more than this, I don't think we can give any hint.
Yeah, see, sharing screen is one thing to do that, but it may not be possible. We have the discourse and everywhere where everybody is posting, waiting for their inputs and everything. So I really don't want to encourage sharing code on the screen. That's why I'm saying the way you can debug it is we've already given the sample code. Just take it, just run it. So you should be getting 100 by 100 if everything else is okay. Then slowly change it line by line, whatever you have modified, right? Slowly try to change small chunks and see where it starts to throw the error.
Okay, ma'am. I got it. I'll try to do with the code which you have provided and try to run on.
Just try it now itself, and then maybe you can come back and join the session again and let us know if you're able to troubleshoot.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm just doing
and one more thing I may add. Just remove the code from the function. I mean, define function and then this try, except, finally remove from everything there. Run a plain Python code in your local machine. Then definitely you will get to know whether connection type none, that kind of error will not come. And if any other error is there, you will be able to debug that.
I'm doing the code which they have provided, and let me see. I will come back in 5 minutes.
That code is under a function, define, main, something kind of. And then under that, it is kind of try, except, and finally block.
Right.
You don't have to do that. You don't do try, except, finally. Just do a plain Python code. And then run it in your local machine. I'm sure you will be able to find the other kind of mistakes.
Okay. Let me do that. Thank you so much. I'm just doing.
Check your output.
One thing. Sorry to cut you, but now probably we are not able to test our test assignment, right? Because now date is over. So how can we do that?
Do that in your local machine. You will get.
No, I got it. Local. See,
okay. So for the deadline of the practice assignment is over, is what you're saying. So you won't be able to try it out, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that's a problem. Okay, so
you try it and post it in discourse.
Let me just tell you. You take the solution code, whatever we have given, right?
Yes.
There, you just change the program logic for the graded assignment and see whether the test run works.
Okay. I'm doing, ma'am, and I will I will come back in 5 minutes. I'm doing, and you can continue with the other.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And you just try to, look at what Vimlesh has also suggested. Like many students have tried many things and that's what works for them, maybe you can try it out. But first try this, whatever solution we've given. Yes. And for graded assignment, just change the logic, the program code. Okay. But the difference that you have to see is in the practice assignment, it is not taking any input from the file. Whereas in both graded assignments, it's taking some input from the file.
So that worked, ma'am. That's
not a problem.
Yeah, that's not the problem. Only problem is somewhere I'm connection close or something that's I'm not able to relate that. So I'm just reading, going through that, and I will come back.
Yeah, please do it. Please try it, and you can come.
Yeah,
back.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah. So we were discussing about.
One more thing. This regarding the assignments. See, the test score, whatever will be coming, either it will be 100 by 100 or 0 by 100, correct?
Right. 0 by 100, yes.
That's right.
No. Yeah, so it won't be like 50 by 100 or 80 by 100, correct?
Right.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Unlike in math course where it was coming like
No, no,
50
that
by
is
100
no.
or
We
so.
are only testing, comparing the final string, just like the Python. It's more like a pass or fail.
So if it is like 100 by 100 and correct code, that means it is correct.
That's correct. That in the sense that that is not hard coded. In the sense that if see somebody is hard coded, they have just run the query in the FreeDB and they don't want to write a Python program, and they're just simply printing it using Python code, right? The hard coded value. Then their test run will work, but it will not run in the background because we are going to do it against a different database, right?
Yeah, that answer. Thank
Got
you.
it,
Thank
no?
you.
Yeah. That's okay. So yeah, so we were discussing about the SSD versus HDD. Piyush, Bhaskar, Arup, anybody wants to discuss it? Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you say like HDD, it's basically based on a magnetic disk, whereas SSD basically uses a solid state technology, like solid state device technology. So it's basically given in the slides. So if you go through once, so SSD basically a faster kind of storage device than HDD. So these are there on the slide. Please go through it, and if you have still a doubt, we can discuss it further. So is it okay? Like
Yes, sir.
And
so,
this is for Arup sir. Good morning. I didn't ask in the beginning, like you had asked how to know whether this is kind of linear or non-linear kind of data structure. I couldn't get that completely. So if you can briefly explain again.
Yeah, so I was telling like we'll be arranging some elements, right? The values, organizing the elements or the values is the basic objective in any kind of data structure. So whenever we go for a linear kind of thing, if you say like a particular element will be followed by or preceded by at most one element, but whenever in a non-linear data structure, the preceding and following element could be more than one. That was my answer. So I was giving an example like a doubly linked list and a binary tree node, right? It's look like similar, like in a doubly linked list, we'll have two pointers basically, a previous and next, whereas in a binary tree node, we'll have a left child and right child. It looks same, but if you look at the preceding thing, like uh, basically like before the particular element in a doubly linked list, there is a node which is pointing to it, and it is followed by another node, right? So it's at most one. But for the first node, there is no preceding node, but there is a following node. And for the last node, there won't be any following node, but there will be a preceding node. Whereas for a binary tree node, there must be a node from there must be a pointer or a reference from a parent, right? So there must be a preceding node, and there can be at most two children, right? So there can be at most two following nodes. That's the thing is like it in case of non-linear, the preceding and following could be more than one. But here in case of linear, it could be at most one, the preceding and following nodes. Yeah.
Okay, but suppose there is no greater than on the right hand side, then that is kind of unbalanced tree and we need to balance that, correct?
Yeah, it may be like it's maybe greater than one, that I told. Like it may be one, but it can be meant greater than one. But in linear, it cannot be more than one. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Because if you have a binary tree in form of a skew, it's basically a linked list, no? Like all are stand in one side. So it basically becomes a linked list because it is not becoming a non-linear because it's not having preceding two, following two nodes. Yeah, Anjana, please.
Somebody had a doubt in optical storage and magnetic disk, right?
Have you read it from the slides? Like whoever, I don't know. Have you read the slides? Because in slides, the things are discussed quite clearly.
Yes, sir.
And you can also see the difference. So I'll suggest first, please go through the slides. If you still have the problem, then raise the question. That will be better.
Sir,
just a second. I would like to just put something.
Yeah, please.
So, optical storage. Who was asking? First of all, can you unmute yourself and?
Actually, I had Bimlesh here.
Yeah. So, I would. So, what is your exact point of doubt? How it works? Optical storage.
What is the difference in storage? I mean, how the storage is done?
Yeah. So, okay. I can tell the answer to it how optical storage works, but may I know your background somehow? Means what I want to ask is, have you read refraction, reflection, these things you are aware of?
Yes. Physics I have.
Okay, very nice. So, can you tell me the reason why the compact discs actually show so many colors when you hold it in sun rays or any light source?
So there is some coating done on the CD.
No, it's not because of coating. It's because of something else. Coating is done, obviously. See, the thing is, there is one light phenomena called interference. Are you aware of that? Okay, anyway, so let me tell you. So basically, there is whenever any optical storage device basically works by when a laser is put on it and some small what should I say, depressions are made. Okay, which actually encodes the data. For encoding the data, a specific pattern of holes, not holes. Holes are something which penetrates, but depressions or pits, like pits are made on a surface, on a device's surface. Okay, that is done using a laser beam or any other technology. Mostly laser is used, and these pits are actually the pattern of encoding, how the encoding is done. Like in magnetic devices, what they do is basically they use the hysteresis loop. That's again a concept in physics, but anyway, so that encoding is done by magnetizing and demagnetizing two dipoles on the disk. Like similarly in optical disk, what they do is they again form small pits, and these small pits are actually the encodings. And because of these small pits, the encoding that is done, the actually interference, a light's phenomena occurs, and that is why your optical disk looks multicolored. Okay, so I think this is not a question to answer particularly in DBMS or any computer related subject, but yeah.
No, I mean, like yes, that is how the storage is done, but then why it is magnetic these are like linear and direct access kind of thing for optical?
What I did not get you.
I mean, for linear data structure and all, magnetic tape, you cannot access anywhere suddenly in the magnetic tapes, correct?
Yeah, you have to actually go through it. Yes.
Even a kind of floppy disk.
Yeah. Yeah, Preetok, just a second.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Yeah, Bimlesh, you can continue.
No, like in CDs and all, you can directly access to a particular point, correct?
You cannot do that. You have to actually rotate the disk, right? You have to go to a particular point. Do you access directly in CD? The read head actually, once
no, suppose this is an MP3 player, I can simply track the particular track number.
Now, how do you do that? Is it direct access or sequential access?
It is sequential.
You have to, there is a read head, right? So in the
optical discs are random access, aren't they?
What optical discs are?
Aren't CDs random access?
You can mechanically, you have to go to the point, right? Otherwise, how can you do after that you can do random?
But mechanically we have to go to the point, but in a sense the read head has two dimensions of freedom, so like it can directly go. Isn't, or am I wrong?
Actually, can I tell something here, sir?
Yeah, see, optical discs are random access that you can get to a point and then read from that point. That is okay. You do not have to follow any pointer or something like that. But the thing is, mechanically you have to reach to that point, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
that's what I'm telling. Because there is no pointer concept. It's simple encoding. So the data is encoded. You can read from any point. and that is the thing in optical disc. And in the magnetic disc also, the thing is, if you are reading it from hard disk, then also there will be seeking, and after that you can do random read. You have to go to that point. Now this seeking the read head to a particular point and reading from there, this can be actually said in two different ways. You can say that it is a sequential form of access when considering the mechanical fetching, and you can say after that it is direct access. Okay. In your access time numericals also in the upcoming weeks, you will see that you have to actually consider the seek time, seek latency. Okay, you have to consider those facts.
So I'm having a doubt here. What is you explain? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Arup sir or Anjana, who was continuing, they can actually continue the session.
So I'm having a doubt. Can I ask?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So in the magnetic disk, as it is said that there are the sectors and the blocks.
Yeah.
And through which we are reading it. So in case of CD also, it follows the same pattern or not? Because we are creating the feeds over there. Are they created in the tracks and the sectors similarly? Because the shape of your optical disc and shape of the magnetic disc, if you open up and see the steel plate inside that, both are same.
It's same. So basically tracks are there in CD, but whether sectors are segregated in that way, I don't know.
And one reason, sir, it is said that as you are more close to the radius, means radial part which is rotating, the central central axis, there the read operation and write operation is very slow than the outer one. So what is the reason, technical reason behind this? Why is it like that?
No. Why is it slow? The data transfer rate.
Data transfer rate is slow when you are writing to the inner sector, but when you write to the outer sector, it is faster. That is what I read in the slide. That I wanted to know. Why is it like that?
Okay, that is mainly because of the see, when you are writing into the file, the data transfer rate, the main problem is because of the circumference area. Because at that, when you are on the outer radius, you have to read through, you have to rotate through all the part of the circumference, right? Read through all the part of it. So your 2 pi r is the circumference. R changes when you move to the inside part. And when r becomes small, 2 pi r becomes small, and that's why you have to make a lesser mechanical traversal. Mechanically, you have to travel less. That's it.
Okay, the distance available to travel is less because but that point is smaller, and we need to be more accurate over there.
Yeah. Okay. And one more thing is that in the modern devices, most of the modern CDs, Blu-ray discs and all, you will see that what they do to overcome this is they simply increase the density of encoding. So inner tracks are encoded more. The density of encoding is more. Outer tracks are encoded means sparsely, and that's why you will get the same data transfer rate. Actually.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, do you have any question? Then otherwise you can also ask some question on week 5 and 6 if you have some doubt.
Yeah.
Anjana, is there any thing left?
No, sir. The Menti part is done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, when are we going to cover problems on the memory sectors and blocks?
Next session, practice session.
Okay. Thank
you. Sir, I have a few questions through the lecture.
It is on which week? 8.
8 week, yes.
Yeah, please.
Okay. The first question is that it's a little contradiction with the DBMS and the PDSA and some information over the internet. So I'm just, can I ask this question?
Yeah,
in
please.
In the lecture first, the wicket. So one place sir has written that time complexity is n square because he is using the one inbuilt function strlen of the some string, and since it's taking the n steps, so and that's why inside the for loop he was using the strlen function in the Java, and he considered this is because the strlen function the length of the str, it's also take the n. So it is n into n, that's why n square. But in the same question, in the PTS algorithm has taken as the 1. So actually, what is that the thing? It is n or it is the 1?
Arup, shall I address this question?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so Kumar, what you're saying is, if you take, I mean, somewhere you saw that in Java, the string length, because it's of length n, you have it as n squared, and in Python, it's taking it as a constant,
Yes.
I mean, a single this thing, right? Not as n string length, is it?
Yes.
So I would say that, see, these complexity of algorithms, I would say you cannot say it's specific to a programming language, right? I mean, it is not with respect to a programming language, but in general, when we write an algorithm, we look at the number of iterations that has to happen. And if there are, say, 2 or 3 for loops within that, then we say that you have to go through, say, n into n into n so many times, right?
Yes, yes.
So it depends very much, I would say, on the internal implementation of that function also. If there is some way in which that function can ensure a constant time checking for the string length, which is, which is built into the Python interpreter possibly. I don't know how it happens. In that case, you can say that it is only an end, and the string length function, you can look at it as a constant time thing. But if you look at it in Java, I mean, if you look at a general algorithm, right, how do you calculate the string length? You have to iterate through the full string, right? So in that case, there is an n factor. So if you ask me exactly what is the difference between the two, I would say there must be something to do with how the compiler and the interpreter handles the string length function.
Okay, ma'am. But one question here.
Yeah.
At the end of the thing, because algorithm is designed only once. So whenever we say that we are learning the BST, binary search tree, and if it is the any language, doesn't matter, because the algorithm is only one to search anything in the log n time is the binary search tree. So either searching developed in the Java or the Python or the any Ruby, C++, anything. So I think everyone is taking the fastest algorithm of searching. And whenever they comes, so they use only one particular algorithm. So by default, I think that the strlen, whatever in the Java, is the same algorithm using the length in the Python. So my question transfer here. So if I transfer this question in the Python, so if there is a for loop and which is iterating over the one string, a string has the length n, and inside the for loop, I'm checking the length of that string. So at the end, so it will be n square or that big complexity or n. If I take the length of the string as the constant, because the length is the inbuilt function of the module. And strlen is also the inbuilt of the Java also. So if I'm taking inbuilt function as the 1, then complexity will become the n. If we go depth of the compiler type of thing, then it's becoming the n square. So I understood what you told that. But the thing here, what will be the answer if someone will ask me in the paper?
So,
it will be n or n square.
Okay, then you have to ask them back what exactly is the algorithm. So is it a single for loop and it says that the string length is a constant time function, then your complexity is n. But if the string length function is further taking a time of O of n, then it is an n squared algorithm. That's it. So if you're asking from the perspective of exam, if you're asking from the perspective of what will be done in the general scenario, in an algorithmic perspective, if you know that the string length is going to be O of n for sure, then it is an n squared algorithm. There is no doubt. But in Python, I would say you can specifically raise this question there. See, if you look at it as an algorithm, you are sure that it is an O of n squared, right? You have the confusion why it is this constant length in Python. Is it correct?
No, that whenever I was talking in the PDSA instructor,
okay,
and he told that if you are using inbuilt, and this question was also so many discussion on the discourse.
right.
If this you are using inbuilt function,
Right.
then better don't think so much. You take as the 1.
Okay, so see, inbuilt with respect to Python, right?
No, not with respect to Python. It's with respect to any language. because at the end and the first lecture.
Kumar, sorry if I interrupt. So see, as ma'am said, that the only proper way to answer this question is you ask back whether because when you are writing a big program, you may use many predefined functions, predefined library things, but when you are analyzing a problem completely, so ideally what you should do, you should consider each and everything. Each and every read should consider. That's how it is done, at least when you are proving a particular algorithm, the time complexity, or even in industry also, when they judge something, they actually consider these kind of things. So it is not that, so if someone asks you, as ma'am told you, that is the proper way. Ask back whether I should consider this or not. And
yes, I understood. Ma'am told the completely depth of the answer. And yes, I understood that, because that whenever we write, we have to go everything.
No, can I add something here?
Yes.
From the algorithmic from the asymptotic analysis standpoint, if the pseudocode has only one for loop, I think we will consider it as O of n. We won't go into the details of whether it is implemented in C or Python, isn't it?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That is correct. What I'm telling is, if your pseudocode has this thing mentioned, that you are using a algorithm to find the string length by simply iterating over the string, and the string is an input parameter, then you should consider that. If you are considering the string to be a constant length string every time, that is hard coded, then it is simply a constant. Then no need to consider that. That would be order of 1.
But in pseudocodes, usually it is written as like you step through the list from 1 to nth position and find out the list, element or something.
It doesn't it doesn't always mean that you look only for the for loops. Okay, it is also about like how is the. So let me just ask you this question. Suppose inside your for loop, you have a search function which is being called. Okay, then that search function will you take it as a just because there is one for loop, will you do that? Will you take it that the complexity of that for loop is only of n, or because you will also accommodate the the complexity of the search function?
No, the question is not about what we are doing inside the inside the for loop. The question is how we are iterating over the list. What is the mechanism of doing the for loop?
No, hold on. So inside the for loop, suppose you are calling a search function, okay? And that search function is actually given in the pseudocode somewhere else. Your for loop is only a single for loop, but the search function has a for loop inside it, suppose. And you have written the search function by yourself. There is a pseudocode for that search function also. So what will you do? You have to accommodate the for loop inside that search function also.
Correct, ma'am. Yes.
Is that correct, Govind?
No, that is correct. Yeah. So the Kumar actually, the question Kumar raised is the way the complexity was calculated between the two implementations. One that was discussed in DBMS, and
exactly. That's what I'm. See, that's
in both of them. Yeah. Both of them, whatever is inside the for loop, that is not the point of contention. The
that is definitely a point of contention. That is
no, I understand. We have to consider it for the entire calculation. But what the question he is asking is, while we are iterating the for loop, when we do for I in range n, or when we do for I in range 1, length of list, right? That length of list in Python apparently was described as a 0 O of 1 operation. Whereas in the particular implementation that sir discussed in DBMS lesson, that strlen function, it was described as O of n operation. That because of which, whatever we are doing in the entire algorithm, including the something that is doing that we are doing inside the for loop, it is getting changed from O of n to O of n square. So his question is, the way we navigate through the list, whether we use range 1, n, or whether we use strlen, apparently there is a difference, but should we consider it for general algorithmic analysis?
Okay, shall I answer your question now?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So this is exactly what I was referring to. You don't know how that function is implemented inside. Let us take an example. I'm talking about a totally different example where you have a for loop and inside which you're calling a search function. The search function is not a built-in function, whereas what Kumar was talking about was a built-in function. The search function is something that we have defined inside the same pseudocode. except that it is not as part of the same for loop. So what will you do? If that search function has a for loop which iterates from 1 to n, the complexity of that pseudocode is, unless assuming that there are only these two nested for loops, complexity of that code is O of n squared. Whereas the built-in function, we have no idea how it is implemented inside. So we have to ask. So if it is an exam-wise question, then I think we should look at it like the, I mean, if it is from the Python perspective, if they have informed you that it is a constant login, right? Kumar, do you understand that difference?
Yes, ma'am. I'm understanding.
Yeah. So when we have clearly defined what is happening inside that function, then it is clear for us, right? So the algorithm itself we have to clearly define. So if you are saying that, okay, I'm going to define earlier on saying that this built-in function takes only constant time, then the complexity of algorithm is O of n. Got it, no? But in our case, what sir is saying is that, okay, string of length has to iterate from 1 to n, then the complexity is O of n squared. When we are clear about how the complexity is handled, right? When we have written the function by ourselves, it's a search function which may be a linear search, in which case that double for loop will take O of n squared. Or if it is a binary search algorithm, which will take a log of n, in which case the two for loops will take O of n log n. In the case of built-in functions, we don't know. For Python, they have told you it's a constant function. So go by O of n. In the case of DBMS, they have said it is a n, then it is go. So when you're asking algorithm, right, you said whatever may be the implementation, what is the complexity of the algorithm? Then you tell me what is the algorithm. The string length is a function which is dependent on the language, not on the algorithm. Right? The string length is an implementation which is specific to the language. You tell me what is the algorithm for string length, I will give you the complexity. You tell me how the string length is implemented in the algorithm, I will tell you the complexity. Is it clear, Kumar?
Yes, ma'am. I just see that in the DBMS, it has written clearly that the external length is taking the n steps, n equal to something.
Right.
In the slide,
yeah.
Its external length is taking the n steps, and in the Python, it is told that it doesn't matter I know or don't know. So I have to take that even the n steps. Even it is the internal phenomena is taking the either log n or n log n, I don't have to think about much more. So it will become more in the depth. So always whenever they take the anything and inbuilt as the inbuilt, just take as the one. So but in the Stack Overflow or the many places on the net is the given same as the what you are telling, and actually whatever you are telling.
So don't you think this is a question you have to ask the PDSA instructors?
Ma'am, I asked that, and the same thing happened there. So even I asked that, sir, two things only in the contradicting one question I asked. In the Python, there is a two function is defined. One is the sorted and one is the dot sort. So I asked that, how will I know that they both are doing the sorting of the list? But why two different function is there? Then sir told that we can't say the internal algorithm, so you have to just check. Then I did one practical on that. I have taken 1 million random data and I use the sorted and the sort. Then I come to the realize sorted is taking double of the time of the dot sort. So meaning is in any case dot sort is taking faster than sorted some list. Then I asked that why it is happening. Then the understanding later we understood that maybe dot sort is using quick sort and the sorted is using merge sort. That is that. So I realized at the end. So there is no meaning of the complexity. Complexity is at the beginning of hypothesis. But whenever we go to implement something practically or real world, then I have to go according to your method, the way you told that, because in that case, I have to think about that, which type of inbuilt function we are using and how it can affect the algorithmic ways. So in that case, I have to consider that everything, even the inside single for loop, how many times I'm using inbuilt, and I have to know that what is the bigger notation of the inbuilt function. But
Okay,
in
so
the
if you're okay, Kumar, just let me just help you on this. Okay, so if you're worried more about how you're going to do an analysis of an algorithm from a practical perspective, right? Then these things are quite vague. I mean, even the asymptotic notation, right? If you give a 1 million into n and an n squared, simply 1 into n squared, right? Which is the worst time asymptotic complexity?
n square.
Yeah, but in effect, how much input should you give to this algorithm so that your n squared algorithm becomes worse than that 10 power 6 into n? Got it, no? Yeah, so these things are quite big. It depends on that constant which is hidden. Because of the asymptotic notation, we are hiding that constant. That's correct, no?
Yes.
Yeah. So from a practical perspective, we are assuming that for so we are hiding these things. So n and n squared are, I would say, quite negligible in the sense we look at more like whether it is a polynomial time solution or an exponential time solution from a theoretical analysis. Okay, if it is a polynomial time solution, it could be an n power 100 also. N power 100 is generally we treat it as the better algorithm than a 2 power n, right? N power 100 or n power even some constant. Okay, n power 10 power 6. That is actually treated as performing better than a 2 power n algorithm, theoretically, right?
Okay, yes.
Got it, no? Yeah. So with respect to a practical analysis, these theoretical analysis are slightly, I would say, vague and this thing. But overall, it helps you to, and for instance, see the difference between a linear search and a binary search, right?
Yes.
You know, the login makes a big difference, right? That makes a huge difference. That correct, no? Even in very practical cases, that makes a huge difference, right?
Correct.
In these kind of analysis, the theoretical analysis can be translated to the advantage that you will get in a practical scenario also. So I would say that you don't have to worry too much about these good things, except from an examination perspective. And for that, I would say that you can go to that specific course, how it is handled and how the prof is instructed. You can go by that and do that analysis.
Okay, so at the conclusion, I can say one thing, ma'am. Since in the DBMS, sir has clearly wrote that in the 36.11, the slide number, that n equal to external n str. That means it is the directly indication that I have to take count of the external n in the analysis.
Yeah, great.
Okay, if it is not given, then I can go through that directly. I can say it
yes, if the string length is any function of n, right? You have to consider that.
Yeah. So
even if it
sir,
is log n or anything.
Yeah. So if sir has not given this value n equal to external n equal to str, then I can consider Vigo notation is the complexity as the only n. No?
I don't want you to put words into my mouth. I can't say really that. Okay, you get the point. See, that's what. See, so there are certain things which I don't know how to exactly state it because they are not there in the sense that you cannot clearly state it. Like if Python instructors have told you that this is a constant length thing, then it must be like I don't know.
Yes, he also like that you can take as the constant, as the Mr. Govind also told that. So whenever it has taken, I have taken the always constant. So he just told that, assume that it is constant, because at the end our question is that in examination I can't discuss with anyone. If
that's true, you can't ask anyone. So see, in the DBMS code, sir has clearly stated that the string length has to be a function of n, right? I mean, it is equal to n, right?
Correct. And
you have to include that in the complexity. There is no doubt about it.
Got it.
Okay.
Yes. And there was another also, but okay, fine.
So just give me a second. I think Nishant has come back with. Okay. Nishant, you want to discuss your issue?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am, actually, I followed the same sequence. I was the difference between my code and the code you shared over the solution is that I created a function, and within the function, I put the try that parenthesis.
Yeah, that's what Bimlesh said. You can avoid.
Yeah, so I removed that. Yeah, I removed that, but still getting at the same situation. Can I share my screen? or
you are again going back to that, right?
okay, sorry.
See, everyone want to share the screen. That's why. So even if it's a practice assignment that you're talking about.
Yeah, practice also. Yes.
Okay. So which question is it? Jersey question or the other one? Encoding.
Other one.
Encoding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I do one thing, ma'am? I can
Yeah.
share my code one-to-one to you. Sorry.
You can
Programming
see if it is a practice assignment code, you can put in the discourse itself. We'll take it from there.
I put up there, madam. Again, I will put up. Yeah,
It's
no
all
issue.
there. It's already there. We'll check.
Yeah, it's already there. I put up 3 days back.
Okay.
3 days back that I put up. Yeah. So that is
there were so many questions on that, so we kind of
maybe I'm doing some little bit silly mistake. So if anyone can hear, probably one-to-one can help
be
me.
really
Please help.
helpful.
Yeah.
See, because many people have more, I would say a lot of people have got it right. So it could not be anything wrong from our side.
Yeah, I may be doing some silly mistake. I'm not saying something from your mind. I may be doing something. Anyone from the student can help me. A student community I can ping you over the chat. Or
so
something.
basically what you're saying is you have not got 100 in any of the assignments,
yes.
right?
No.
That's what bothers you.
Yes,
so
yes.
Okay.
It's 0 upon 100 every time.
Okay.
So I don't want to probably anyone if have went through, so they can guide me the what I went wrong.
Maybe I can try to figure out what issue.
Okay.
Yeah, who is it?
Shreyash.
Yeah, Shreyash. So Nishant, can you just post the screenshot of your connection string and this thing in this discourse? We'll take a look at it there.
Yeah. So complete code should I paste, ma'am, or what should I?
Yeah. If it is a practice assignment, you can post it completely.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit and troubleshoot in the live session. That's a problem. We'll check it and get back to you soon.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure. I will post it.
Thanks. Okay. Anyone else has any other issues with respect to the submission of assignments? So that we are worried about is like whether there is anything wrong from the configuration of questions. So if at least few people have gotten it right, then we're sure that there is nothing wrong from our side. But if there is a question for which no one has got 100 by 100, then we will have to check our question configuration. That's what I'm worried about. Okay. Anyway.
So is there someone who got full marks in the questions?
All four.
I got.
Okay.
Shreyash, okay.
Shreyash have shared his number, so I will connect with him first. If
sure.
work, then I will talk to you. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
So yes. So I mean, I would suggest that you try to do the graded question by yourself, because you are in all probability going to get a question in the quiz 3 as well as in term. So I would say that try to. You have done that, but you don't know how the connection. So don't share the graded solution.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. So that's what everything is worked out. I just silly mistake I'm doing. So I just want
sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So others, if anyone has any questions, not just related to the programming assignment, even for the other content, please ask.
Just 25 minutes ago, we got an email that for week 7 alone, the score for weekly assignment will be best score.
Out of, the objective, 100% objective or 50% programming, 50% objective, whichever is the higher, that will be taken.
So 100% objective is the graded assignment.
That's correct. Not the practice.
And programming is the graded programming assignment.
Graded programming assignment and graded objective assignment. The practice assignment, programming assignment, we are not considering at all. You need not even submit it. That's okay.
Okay.
The graded programming assignment you must submit, and the objective you have done, then we will take 50% of objective plus 50% of programming, whichever is higher. Sorry, the total we'll take it, and then we'll consider only the objective, the 100% objective rate. And we'll compare which is the best among the two, and that will take us a score of week 7.
Objective is what we do every week, the graded assignment.
Exactly. Same thing. See, why we came up with this and not like the query question, because the grading pattern, we had not mentioned that there will be a programming component. So that is why we had to come up with this. Otherwise, we would have insisted on 50% programming and 50% objective for sure. But because we did not mention it in the grading pattern earlier, we don't want to people who may have gone by that and you have not submitted the graded assignment need not be penalized. So that's why we decided whoever are going to submit like 100% objective and 50% objective plus 50% program, whichever is higher, that will be considered as a week 7 score.
I just had one doubt when I read this. So this graded assignment score that we get every week, will it be considered for the final score, or is it just
No.
this thing
No.
to the a qualification to appear for the
In DBMS, it's only the qualification score all along, right? We are not considering. Are we considering it as part of total score at all? You just give me a second.
No, ma'am. We are
No.
not considering.
No. In AppDev, we are. In AppDev, 10% of the lab assignment, we have said that. No? But in DBMS, we are not considering the weekly assignment marks at all for the final score.
even the SQL query
That's correct.
assignment?
Even the SQL.
Okay.
So you would have seen the grading pattern in the portal, right, Chariya?
Yes, I saw it in the beginning, but I
Just
forgot.
check it again. Just check it again. This is what we have given. If there is a confusion, please post again. Okay.
Okay. The second thing is in this practice assignment for week 8, the second and third question I have solved it in my way and put the solution on Discourse. I don't know where I'm going wrong in that.
Sorry, the practice assignment question, is it? Week 8 practice assignment, is it? Question
Yes.
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
Okay. That's what you have posted just now, right?
Yes.
Okay. We will see that and respond. Okay. I think we'll need some time to go through that.
Then one more small discrepancy I noted between PDSA and DBMS is how you change the first element of a linked list, or how you delete the first element of a linked list.
Okay. What exactly was that?
In the DBMS course, the slide mentions, I think it is the second one, it mentions that you can just go and link the header to the new node that you want to insert, to the new link that you want to insert there. While in the PDSA course, it says that you can't change the pointer of the header. So you will have to go and swap values and then change the plumbing, basically.
Okay, so what you're saying is in DBMS, what we have mentioned is, say you want to insert a new node at the beginning, right? Is it correct?
Yes.
Then what you do is you save the the address of the header somewhere, and then you change the header as this new one, and then you change the pointer from this new header to the old saved address, right?
Yes.
Is it correct, or am I confusing?
I'll try to explain it.
Yeah.
In that diagram on the slide, they've shown the header, and then they have shown that connects to one small box.
Yeah, just one second. Shall I just share that? 1 second. Let me just share
Okay.
that. Okay, just give me a second. Just give me a minute, okay? I have to take it up. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have something else to discuss, you can continue. I'll just take it up here.
I have a doubt regarding how we pass the parameters in the SQL query. I had a doubt. We cannot pass a single parameter, right? It was giving error. So when I searched,
No, I have shown it how to pass a single parameter last week.
Okay, but so when I searched on Stack Overflow, it said you have to pass it using a tuple. That solves the issue.
You have to give the number, then following a comma. That's all.
Comma, right. But one more interesting thing I found on this Stack Overflow is they said don't use percentage sign. It may lead to security concerns, or it may breach the SQL injection. They suggested use question mark instead. But I tried using question mark.
But is it for Python, like what you're saying?
Python, yes, Python.
Question mark, I don't know. I need to check it out. But SQL injection, some amount, like it could be also protected in case of percentage. Yes, I have shown that also in the session. Yeah. So I have run a SQL injection attack, and it's shown like if it is on percentage yes, some amount it could be protected.
Right. Actually, right. In the Stack Overflow discussion, they have not mentioned the language. I just assumed it to be Python. Maybe question mark does not work with the
Yeah, probably.
PG2 library. We need to drill down it.
Sir, I have one question. Can I ask regarding this wicket?
Yeah, please.
I think ma'am was actually trying to present that, right? For Cherian.
Okay.
Yeah, let us discuss that first.
Bhaskar, I'm just taking it. So which lecture is this, Cherian? 8.2?
In DBMS, it is module 37, 8.2, page number 16.
16, just give me a second. Okay, content keeps moving. Just give me a second, okay? Just continue.
And in PDSA, it is 3.5.
Just give me a second. I'll try to share the screen. Is this somewhere here, Cherian? Cherian, is this correct?
Yes, it's before that. It's little bit before that. After this point, just the one immediately after this. Yes, this one.
Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, so new node is pointing here, and then the header will come and point here, right? Okay, new node.
So in this, he shows the header pointing to the new node.
Okay, okay.
So in PDSA, what we were taught was you cannot change the pointer for the header.
Okay.
Instead, what you should do is you should you should swap the values of F and A and change the plumbing so that F points to A and A points to B, like that. So sorry, A points to F and
so
F
then you have a new node, and then you will, it is almost like inserting in the middle of a linked list.
Yeah,
right?
inserting between A and B and swapping the values of A and B.
Got it.
A and F, sorry.
Okay.
So
let me just ask you one thing. Yeah. So let me just tell you one thing. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm not sure. Bhaskar, please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. So see, linked list is basically a data structure, right? Got it, no? Linked list is a basic data structure. And as such, we can say that these are the ways in which we do. But again, this implementation of how exactly an insertion, deletion, everything take place can be dependent on the compiler or the interpreter that uses that data structure, right? See, even in certain compilers, say for instance, I don't know, I'm just simply giving an example. This may not be right or wrong, okay? See, suppose you are using in Python and there is Java. Suppose a stack is implemented in one as an array and the other as a linked list. Okay, you don't know how it is done. All you can do is you can write a program to write a stack, right? So it could be a different thing. Here again, how the linked list implementation is actually done could be dependent on the compiler or the interpreter, right? So this, what sir has shown, is probably one way of doing it. And in Python, they have done it in a different way. The idea is, the basic difference between how it is done in an array and a linked list.
Okay.
That's probably what, I mean, that is probably what you should take away from that. Rather than the very basic idea about how the insert delete are done, what you have to understand is, one is where you can, it is not a linear structure. I mean, it is not the, this, what you say, where there is a random access. In that should be your key takeaway, rather than how the implementation differs from one compiler to another.
Thank you.
Bhaskar, do you want to add anything to that? Is it okay?
No, that's exactly the thing.
Okay.
Just one thing I would like to tell. So, Cherian, I don't know about the course, what it has taught in PDSA, because it has been taught. But I just want to ask you one thing. So, whenever sir was teaching that, or yeah, so was there any specific function, or was he only discussing the algorithm?
No, he was only talking about the difference between linked list and array. This is 3.5 in PDSA.
Okay. Okay. So what I think sir wanted to mention is that he wanted to project the main difference between array and linked list by mentioning this point, that in array what you have to do is basically you have to shift all cells whenever you are inserting something. But
Yes, yes.
in linked list, you can actually do this kind of swapping and as you are saying, changing the pointer reference. So that's why I think he said that. Okay, but the main point, as ma'am told you, that you can do any kind of implementation as long as it does not change the algorithmic time complexity. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is clear.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Just one doubt regarding the assignment. When we read from the file, should we validate whatever we read? Like, should we check if it is capital or small, or whether?
Programming assignment.
Yes.
No. You can directly read and use it in the. Just one bit good practice to do that is used to that you can strip away the extra spaces if there is none. We have ensured that, but it is a good practice from your side to use the strip method. Okay. Other than that, you do not have to do anything. You can directly use that.
Thanks.
Yeah, if you have any query with respect to week 5, week 6, some difficult topics, closure or anything, you may ask, and week 8 doubts also are fine. Yeah.
Sir, I had doubt regarding graded assignment 7. In question number 3, it says the cookies are created and shared between a server and a browser with the help of HTTP header. But to my understanding, cookies either are stored in the my local machine so that it could serve me the saved data, or it is saved in the server machine so that again it could respond faster with the saved data.
Yeah, it is saved on your machine only, but the thing is, how will it come on your machine?
Okay. The cookie stored on the server data, when it sends it to my machine, that communication is via HTTP header. Did I get that?
Yes.
Okay. And also regarding the duration of cookie, there is not any rule that regarding the duration of cookie, right? It could be temporary or it could be permanent.
Now that is implementation specific, depending upon the website, or depending upon you if you delete everything.
Can I say here, sir, something?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. This topic is actually mostly discussed on the MAD there. So it is the simple thing. There is a two process. The time suppose we are opening the first time website, that time server send the cookies to the local machine, and it's depend on the server how much time he want to save that. For example, if you open the Medium website, medium.com, then some condition is there. Suppose you are using within a month more than the 40 times. Next time you will use that more than 40 times within a month, then it will say you to log in. The question is that how they know that you use the more than 40 times. So actually there is a one way, because whenever we hit that any web pages and it's go to the server, it's goes server with the cookies already saved as the text, and they fetch up the cookies with that the user sends. So first server sent to the local machine client, and the client after they add every time you open, and that time once you click that more than 40, so they track that cookie. Other way is there to track from the IP address, but due to the dynamic way, IP can change every time. So it is not good way of track. So cookies is only. So in the medium, you can say that it for the 1 month they hosted, and after 1 month again it's free. So we can do. So it's like that, which is the
In
discuss.
continuing to medium example, what if I changed my web browser? Then
See that if you change the web browser, then it can be that something. See, I didn't check that to changing the web browser, but even I don't much more clear about the actually which place cookie is
No,
saved.
Kumar,
Is that save on the web browser, or there is some particular place on the hard drive that place it's changed? If you talk like that, then if you go Mac the McAfee antivirus, they save some way, so even you can't find it, and even you do everything, you the restore that operating system again, it's fine. So it's obviously our all the smart technology. They already know server side person, so he's most smart. So they know that we can do like that. So it's time to time changing. And actually, I don't have much more depth actually what's they're doing, but that is the idea. I'm just telling the way you're telling that if you change the web browser. So this question is only I know that particular it's saving for in particular web browser or something. At the end they are saving some hard disk. So how they configure hard disk or something, that's depend on that, I think. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, Franz.
yeah. So yeah, Shreyans, basically see. So as I told you, timing part of it is dependent on the programming of the cookie. So how they want to handle it, as Kumar also gave you an example. But it is very much dependent on web browser. So the cookies, again, some implementation point of view is there that when it is stored on the hard drive, it will actually go to the directory, the server. So when you actually log into the website, the server of that website will go to the specific directory and check. But it may not be the case always. Again, it is implementation dependent. But generally, what you can say is cookies are very much dependent on browser. So if you change browsers, you will not get the exact behavior when you log on to the website again.
okay, got that. And also, sir, could you throw more light on sessions? What exactly are sessions?
Session is basically any active instant of operation on a website. That is basically when you are actually making a connection. When you are actually opening a website. So in MAD, have you learned about TCP, UDP connections, handshaking, these things?
No.
Okay. Anyways, so basically, whenever you go to a website, what happens is basically you are making a request to the server which is hosting that website, right? So on a particular port, your request will go and the server will respond accordingly. So this is the basic understanding of how it happens, but underneath it, there is a connection component that also works. Now, connection means, so that is what TCP and UDPs are. Basically, you make a connection with the browser and there is, with the server, and there is a procedure of doing that. So a session is basically one active instant of connection. So whenever the server is checking, okay, so this is a active connection and I should respond to it. But if it is not, if you are not operating on that for a long time, maybe 15-20 minutes or something like that, that depends on the implementation again. Then what they will do is it will simply terminate that connection. The server will simply terminate that connection. And there is an automatic timer on the server side that actually maintains this, which is called the persistence timer. Okay, so these are networking concept, but basically a session means active instant of connection. That's it. Okay.
Yes.
Is it okay? I mean, could I clear your at least in
Yes,
the okay.
So, for example, if I, let's say, if I went on CodeChef, I logged in there, so my session has started, right? And
Yeah.
if I log out of it and close that tab, then my session on the server side has stopped, right? Because I disconnected the connection.
Yeah. And even if you do not disconnect, after some time, that's what I was saying, there is a persistence timer is there on the server side. It will disconnect.
It may ask me to log in.
Yeah.
Can I add something here, please?
Yeah. Please.
Or the better example would be the way we add products to cart on e-commerce website without logging in. Some e-commerce website.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you close the browser, then it will actually go out. Yeah. So in e-commerce website, if you add something to the cart, unless that information is stored as a cookie on your machine at that instant, if that is not done, then when you actually close that tab and reopen another tab, you will not get the contents in the cart unless it is stored as some cookie or any other form of data on your local machine. Yeah. But if you open it in incognito, then obviously it will not be there again. That's for sure. Yeah, Govind, I think you wanted to say something.
Yeah, what I wanted to add was like a session is a set of multiple request response interactions. Basically, initially when the client makes a request to the server, server actually registers the client and creates a session on the server, and that information is passed on to client in the way of transmitting a cookie, or it can also actually pass some kind of a additional parameter on the URL that is also similar to some kind of a cookie, but it is like some kind of a string that is passed in the URL, and the client will actually send that information back in all further interactions with the server. That way, the multiple interactions between the client and server are treated as one single conversation, and that is what is identified as a session. So typically a session is identified with an ID on the server side, and it has got a timeout. So that is how, because it is stateless, right? There is no assumption on the server or on the client that server is alive on the other side or client is alive on this side. So in order to, because HTTP is stateless, so we have to have this kind of a mechanism to group multiple request response cycles into one single conversation. That is what is session.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Govind, since you said this, just one little point I would like to bring forward. So can you tell me, specifically I'm asking you only, so can you tell me what problem does it cause if you do not have, security is a different thing. I'm not asking from the security and banking transactions from those point of view, but if you do not have sessions on a website, then can you tell me a particular packet problem occurs? Can you tell me the name for that?
What is the specific question? So when the session is not maintained on the server,
When you do not,
what could be the problem that may have?
That may happen when there is no, as you said, session ID. If you do not maintain specific session ID and simply request on ports, what may happen?
No, it depends upon what is the functionality that we have on the server, right?
Simply,
if the server is
simply web servers which has some, suppose only with respect to HTTP web request I am asking you, not with respect to some very difficult. Simple packet error will occur.
If session is not there, typically we have a configuration that whenever a request arrives, always create a new session. That is the typical configuration we have, right?
Whenever a request arrives, always create a new session. That is not correct.
Unless there is this what do you call the specific thing. For example, let's say we want to authenticate a user always, right? Yeah. And we do not want to pop up the authentication or redirect the user to a login page only on certain conditions. Yeah. So what is the condition on which we want to log in? So that means we have to track the multiple requests of the
Same
user.
session.
Yeah, of the user. So this is done using that the cookie. So we write a cookie to the client, and when the request comes back with that cookie, and we say that the user is in the session, right? That is how we track. Now, it is possible that there could be multiple agencies in between the client and the server. There could be a proxy which is actually filtering the cookies, or which is truncating, or which is actually suppressing some client information. For example, the client may have an IP address, and that IP address is not exposed to the web service because some proxy or some firewall or a load balancer is sitting in between.
Yeah, that is okay. That is okay. So most of the time you will have some proxy or any firewall kind of thing, which will actually prevent this kind of information to be displayed or to be communicated on the other side. That is okay. What I'm asking is basically, even on your local machine, if you host a server and on your local host, I mean, so, and if you do not maintain sessions of a web application, the problem that you will get is you will not be able to track the, as you said, it is done using cookies. So that's what the actual problem that I wanted to bring, because we were also discussing on cookies in this session. So you will not be able to track the packets. That's the main problem. Can you do that without maintaining a proper session ID? If your server is actually replying to multiple requests, only web request I'm talking about, then this problem will occur. So anyway, you have to make a common proper identifier to do that. So there will be problems like duplicate packet problems and something like this will happen.
A packet is something that is tracked at the TCP layer, right? At the HTTP level, there is no packet tracing, isn't it?
Yeah. But
At TCP level, TCP level, yes, you're right. There is a packet tracing, and it will ask for retransmission, and that kind of a reliable connection mechanism is there. But at the HTTP level, there is no packet tracing, right? The request comes, whatever is read in from the headers is what is taken as the client information.
Yeah, that's why you have to maintain the session ID. That's what I said actually.
I have one question in that. Can I ask this?
Yeah, so yeah, Kumar, before that, I would just like to ask if there is any more doubt with respect to week 8, then you can actually ask. And other than that, if no doubt is there, then we will just get your doubt and then we will close the session.
Week 8 also I have a doubt that not directly but indirectly in that week 8 through. I will bet that if any question.
Yeah, just a second. No one else has any doubt, right? Okay. Yeah, Kumar, you may ask.
It is a small question. Whenever we say that session about that, so whenever client send the request, how the server receive the session, actually which method? Do you have like that, Mr.
In terms of Python, in Python?
Yeah, and any language, in the Python, Django, or the Flask, any, because that we receive something, client wants to hit that website domain name. So actually we go on the server with a bunch of the information. So which part of the method it's receive the session, and how session we receive in the encrypted form? And if it is the encrypted form, then who designed the encrypted by default, HTTP or the me?
No, Kumar. So basically the user side information is picked up in the form of cookies only every time.
Cookies means what is that? I know like that request is there, it's going there, and everything is inside request, because and we say that request dot form, then it comes the all information about the form in the form of the dictionary. So cookie is what? The entire request is the cookie. Entire request is the cookie.
Not that. So when you are requesting a server, so that the user request is simply an HTTP request that goes to the server. That is fine. Now, once that is done, it is authenticated whether this is from which particular machine it is coming, and all that part is done on the server side, and mostly it is done by a firewall or a proxy. And after that, when the finally request goes to the server, it opens a normal connection, that is a normal session, and then it actually checks whether this particular user has some pre-stored data or not. So that those pre-stored data, which the website drops as some files, or maybe binary files on the, or maybe text file, that depends upon the website, but most of the time it is binary file. Those binary files are dropped on your local machine in the browser's directory. You simply find your browser in C drive if you are using a Windows machine, and you go there, you will get that. You go to the browser directory, you will find in some particular folder the cookies will be stored. From there, the server will actually pick those cookies and it will read that. So cookies are basically user information depending upon the session that was stored previously. This is not the connection. So connection request is a normal HTTP request that goes to the server from the user side.
Okay. I realized that, sir, when we make even any request, no, so two connections happen at the same moment. One, your server is receiving something as request, and just after that, it's sending some response. That's only two things. So my every information is going through only request the time I'm sending request. So is that particular method that on the server we receive the information? Because sometime I didn't maintain the session, but also it was working, login and log out was working fine. And so it is maintained by the browser itself, or something even we miss that the browser itself maintain.
Okay, so this thing you have to be very particular about it, otherwise it is quite vague to answer this.
Okay, sir.
If you post your exact details in the discourse, we will try to get that. Okay.
Okay, sir. So you can give me some information, or I can read also online on that.
No. The login information, when this is how it is, right? When the user logs in, right? So then what happens is, what do you call, the server writes a cookie to the client.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I already explained him.
Now that one, you can actually see what are the cookies that are written to you from a particular website. A cookie will have multiple attributes. One is from where the cookie got originated. What is the website from which the cookie got originated? Whether the cookie is secure or not. Whether it can be sent over HTTP or it should be sent only over HTTPS, and what is the age of the cookie. So let's say these are the three main properties. Now, when the client actually sends a request to the server, this cookie is sent back to the client, to the server. Then server will figure out whether the client is already authenticated or not.
Yeah, the Govind, I told him that, but what Kumar is asking that whether the browser does anything on its own. Are you asking something like that, Kumar?
Yes, sir. The question is between here. When the user sent to the server, we understood, but how actually, how server received the cookies from that practically?
Header. In the header.
Header is nothing but the request itself. Request.meta in the Django, request dot some info is in the Flask. So which particular?
No. When in Flask, you have there are two parts, right? You have a request.form, request.headers.
No. We have request as the object, and request has more than 20 methods.
Correct. Request.headers is there attribute.
And request dot many thing is there.
There is a request.headers, I think, which has all the list of headers that are sent by client to the server.
Okay, in between as the dictionary, and in this dictionary, session is mentioned.
No. In that dictionary, the cookie is mentioned. Cookie, let's say, like typically you will have, I do not exactly know how Flask API works. Typically on the request object, you can say get cookies. Okay. Then you get list of all the cookies that are sent by the client to the server. So from that, from that cookie, you will figure out what is the cookie that you had already written.
One second.
The server will figure.
Yeah, one question. You told that client sent all the cookies. Means client has that many website cookies. So is that
no. Client browser will send only the cookies that came from particular server. It will not send all the cookies.
Got it. So we will find that which method is particular. So where the session stay?
Correct. Now, so this is at the header level, right? This is at the HTTP header level.
We can see that. We can print this or save that information on the server side because we know that how to get it.
Correct. So there are typically these frameworks, let's say Flask, or in case of Java, anything. So you will have a layer of abstraction. You can always read a cookie, and you can yourself figure out whether that cookie is fresh or not, whether it is sent recently, the recent cookie came back. So that kind of logic you can write, and you can figure out whether it is the same session or not, or otherwise. Yeah, go ahead.
One more question. So cookies is coming in the piece of the text. So we have to, before reading the cookies, we have to decrypt it,
No, not required. It is like a key value pair basically. Cookie will have a name, and the header will be called, I think, set cookie or something. Under that cookie, you have some value, and that value is some kind of an encrypted thing.
Yeah, I'm talking only that about that.
Yeah, that the server will do, na. Otherwise, how anyone can access? Any other server can also do if they try to do that. And
Correct.
So it will be encrypted.
Yeah, it is
most
encrypted.
of the time. Most of the time.
Yes, because it is the bunch of the some string type of SHA type of something.
Yeah.
Question is here, but we didn't do anything the time of configure the website. For personally as the developer from the server side, we didn't do anything encryption and that. So this encryption is made by the HTTP or the web, the W3, isn't it? How we decrypt these cookies on the server? I want to see that.
No, you need not decrypt. The framework is taking helping you with that. Who has encrypted it? Framework has encrypted it, right?
Okay, framework.
Flask actually did the encryption for you. Similarly, any framework, web framework, let's say if you use Spring or if you use any PHP or whatever, that framework will actually encrypt and write, and that framework will have a mechanism to decrypt and tell you whether it is the same session or not.
Okay, fine. Now I got a encrypted thing. I want to see in decrypted form when human can read it. Can you tell the how to do?
No, you need not, because
that's what the thing is, no? That the framework will do that. So
framework will do, and it has different algorithms to do it. Now, what the cookie value can be? It can contain the client IP address, timestamp, or time of the day. It mixes everything and creates some kind of a hash, maybe 256 bit hash, and that is what is the cookie value. That cookie value, you do not know how server had created it.
Okay, then I have one thing. Whatever you told, that cookie is containing everything, no? So to know everything, I don't need even the cookie, because
not everything. Whatever the framework requires to identify that the server request, the client is in the same session. Let's say you have a cookie. Okay, now let's say today you accessed a website. Some cookie got downloaded into your machine. 1 week back, you opened the machine, the browser, and let's say the cookie's expiry is 30 days. So 1 week back, you opened it and you access the same website. So whatever cookie is stored, that cookie gets sent, unless you clear the cache or history on your browser. When that cookie is sent, that framework on the server side will have a mechanism to figure out. It will be able to decrypt and tell whether the cookie is having a valid session information or not.
So my question is very specific. We got a encrypted cookies, no? How to extract session from there? That's
no, you need not. That framework is doing it. When you're using Flask,
framework is doing. I want to see.
You have to know how framework is encrypting it. You want to unlock something. You want to know how to lock it first. So you have to understand how framework is encrypting it. What is the algorithm that it is using to encrypt a cookie and write that cookie to the client? Then you will know how to decrypt it.
No, see that if he is encrypted, then suppose there will be some decryption function inside framework which is hidden from me.
Correct. Even encryption function is also hidden from you, right?
Both are the hidden. Just I'm passing the cookies as the parameter. I only one thing, just want to see that entire in readable format of the session. Is it possible?
Yes. Frameworks typically provide that information, but I don't think frameworks will provide information to actually. You can write your own custom cookies. You can generate some. Let's say you want to write a cookie to the client. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can come up with some algorithm and you can come up with some kind of a 256 or 1024 bit string, and that string you can write it as a cookie.
Yes.
Yeah, Kumar, see, basically, when you are actually making a connection like this, or whenever you are authenticating whether the user is in the same session or not, that is done using cookie, that is fine. Encryption, that depends upon the particular framework that you are using, and the algorithms that are used, that may differ depending upon the particular software that you are using to make the scripts on the server side. Okay, now there are very specific some algorithms for encryption which may be used. That depends again on the framework. And as Govind was lastly suggesting you can also make your own encoding and simply make a cookie and drop it on the user side. That also you can do. But generally, algorithms which are foolproof, some AES are there, RSA, many algorithms are there. As he was saying, that hashing is done, salting is done. Some other algorithms are there. So that is done, and that is implicitly taken care in the framework. Whatever you are using, whatever technology you are using in the backend, whether you are using Flask, whether you are using a Node.js or something like that. Okay, so that is not very what should I say, rigid or very any concrete idea of that.
And you can also write, you can also create a big string, and you can encrypt it with your own encryption algorithm, and you can write it to the client, and you can get back the cookie, and you can find out whether you are decrypted, and if I find out whether user is in the same session or not. So you have your own rules for managing the session. Let's say you say that if a user is accessing within 7 days, you can call him on the same session. You can say that if the user is accessing from the same IP, then you can assume that user is in the same session. Like this, you can formulate your own rules. Based on that, you can come up with some kind of a mechanism to create a cookie and write it to the user. And the browser mechanism will ensure that the same cookie is sent back to you whenever user is requesting from the same to the same server URL.
Okay. I got the most of thing. I think I will read more than I will come to the know, and anything I will ask next session or something, or discourse.
Sure. So basically, to answer Shreya's question, the session is across multiple interactions, and that is managed with cookies, and you are modifying the URL. Maybe URL also we can encrypt in such a way.
Yeah, URL parameters are also.
So that in both ways we can understand whether the client is in the same session or not. Typically, frameworks will provide a default mechanism to identify whether the user is in same session, and these sessions.
Yeah, I think there is a connection problem on Google's side, and
now we can hear, sir. Yeah.
No, on Govind's side, he was speaking something, and also I think Shreyas has left.
Sessions will have, let's say, depending upon the web server sessions, and based on that, these sessions are established, and each session will have identification.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think anyone else is here. If anyone of you, I think it is okay, right? You don't have any more doubts regarding this, at least regarding week 5, 6, because you have quiz.
Yes, sir. Week 5, 6. There was a week 5 from the doubt was there, but I think it will take time. So
that's why I asked at first that whether week 5, 6 doubt was there or not. Yeah. Okay. So briefly, what doubt do you have? Or maybe, or should we do it?
Bhaskar, yeah, I think we were planning to have a session on Monday. That did not happen for some reason. We couldn't coordinate it. So tomorrow, shall we have an extra session or something to clarify? Will that work for people who are here? I think you have an active session, but I think we have to discuss within our team also to see whether we can have one. Or we can have it on Saturday, that open session, we can extend it, but then you will have doubts on the application development also.
I think on Saturday, it would be a little late, but wouldn't it be fine? Because I think application development oriented doubt we discussed extensively today. And Maybe
No, but
algorithm.
even then, no, that is week 4 to 6 in AppDev, they may have a lot of questions, right? So
Oh,
that they'll have to address it. So is Friday okay? Friday morning, we will discuss. So will Friday morning be okay for all of you? And this is, I mean, if you have any questions on week 6, 5 and 6, sorry, 4 to 6, something like a revision session for the quiz 2.
Okay, ma'am. So you're from 4 to 6 all together will be in one day, Friday.
Yeah, more like a revision session for quiz 2.
Okay.
any specific topics if you have in mind, then you may say, because we have discussed the topics, and after that, if you have any doubt, please say those topics. We will try to come up with some example, and then we will take doubts.
Yeah. Or if you don't have any doubts in week 8, the open session on week 8, Saturday itself, we can have a revision session as a revision session.
Yeah.
That is also possible. So, I mean, I think
Ma'am, assignment deadline for week 8.
that is it. That is extended, right? It's not extended. Did you check it? Is it extended? That is on 31st now, right? Sorry, when is the submission
1st of
deadline?
November, madam. It's 1st of November.
That is a Monday night, is it? Okay, let me see.
The very next day of quiz.
Yeah, I saw your query, but I wanted to check with someone and respond. I think that will be postponed. It's still showing 1st of November, right? Okay. Just give me a minute. I'll just check and get back to you now itself. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Until then, if you don't have questions on week 8 content, that open session on week 8 content itself, we can have it as a week 4 to 6 revision. But if you have questions on week 8, I think it will be difficult. So people who are here can comment on that.
No, if deadline is extended, ma'am, then we can postpone our queries to next week.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so that will kind of depend on the decision, right? Let me just check. Okay, if there is any change or something, I'll just check and let you know. Just give me a minute.
So is there any future lab assignment for this week? I don't think.
Week 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we don't have any other lab. Only week 2, 3, and this week 7 has had lab assignment.
The Bhaskar sir, I want to ask one question regarding to the this about the database and the algorithm. Can I ask one?
Yeah. As ma'am is checking, you may ask.
Okay. Yes. Sir. So till that, one thing, whenever we put the array and whatever we have seen this lecture algorithm, so whenever we design the linked list, so at the end where we save that linked list designed by that algorithm, because linked list is fine, working fine when the program is running, and we create something, so till program is running, it is fine. But what happens if we have a data a lot and we design that data on the form of linked list? So where we save this data?
So the main advantage of using linked list is it is dynamic. So linked list arrays are used for mainly when you are doing some computation on the data. They are not a way to store data.
Okay, I was
The
this
main
doubt from.
So when you create linked list in Python, if you, are you familiar with C++ programming?
Yes.
Okay, so basically when you create a linked list, what you basically do in those low level, not low, medium level languages, is actually Python or many languages abstract many things out of it, right?
Yes.
When you do in C or C++, you have to do something, you have to write new, right? So basically what it does is it basically takes the memory from the heap part of your process, right? And that's why it is dynamic. It is in runtime only. So it takes the memory from that part. It is not something which is stored on some secondary storage or something like that. So the main advantage of using linked list is it is dynamic. It is dynamic allocation. So whatever computation you do, and after that you can save it in the form of an object in some binary file if you need to store it. That but information for that. And again, when you are running a program, you have to read it from the binary file and represent it in the proper linked list format and do the operation.
Then I have one question here. Suppose there is a two condition. If I am saving in the binary file or putting somewhere, then the time of reading its reading file is
that will add up.
And
So I'll just
Yes.
interrupt Kumar, just giving inputs to Bimlesh. Sorry, Bimlesh, the deadline will be extended. Okay, currently it is 1st November. It will be extended by how many days? I'm not sure exactly, but in all probability, it will be along with week 9 deadline. But please don't post in discussion forum or anything before the formal announcement comes out. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, but it is definitely not on 1st November. It will be postponed. So then we can have the open session on Saturday morning itself, right? The week 4 to 6 quiz revision session that we can have on Saturday morning itself, right?
Sure, ma'am. That will be best.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, Kumar, carry on. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, and that day we will do week 4 to 6 first, and then we will go to week 8 open session.
Yes,
And
sure. Yeah.
Ma'am, this is extended only for DBMS or for the all subject?
In all probability for all diploma courses, but please wait for the announcement. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Kumar, is it fine? Does that?
Yes.
I want to add here. So typically some programming languages like, for example, Java has something called object serialization.
Yeah,
so whatever objects we create in the during runtime, let's say for linked lists, we have node implementation and node has previous next pointers, and we create this link dynamic this structure in memory, right? So we can actually serialize the entire object into a file. So by calling object.serialize, and that will write it to the file, and we can deserialize and create the same memory structure from that file next time.
But the writing the file itself will take the memory, no?
Yes, that will take memory, but there is a mechanism for you. The programming language is providing you a mechanism to create this object structure into a file.
Yeah, Python has that. Is called the C pickle, one of the fastest. So, but even it is at the end, it is the file. So it's somehow take the time. It will reduce the time, but not faster. So, and the second thing, sir told that it is the nature in the dynamic. So what happens if I want to play with the 1 million data? So the creating dynamically linked list also will take the time of the doing 1 million data. So either is reading from that database or doing dynamically. Both is taking time. So there is no other way we can save like the database and we can extract information like that. So there is no way such that.
No, whenever you want to save it to a secondary storage, you have to do it in a binary format, as mentioned earlier, right? So if you're saving it to a database, you have to write it into a table, into some kind of a blob column. Or if you're writing into a file, you have to write it into a file as a binary file. Now, if you want to create 1 million objects, you have to see how much time, how much space you want to allocate to each of the element. If you are creating a float, it will take 4 bytes. If it is int, it will take 16 bytes. So accordingly, so much memory will get allocated, and so much this one will be taken. But some serialization mechanisms will have efficiency. So depending upon redundancy and that, you will be occupying lesser space on the file disk than what you have in the memory, something like that. So it's all specific to the programming languages and implementations.
Okay. Okay. So actually, I want to just inform that the Bhaskar sir. Hello, sir. Yeah. So actually, in the professor lecture, the sir has taught that something the complexity time. So none of the complexity was there. O1 means constant time, either array or linked list. So searching, the accessing, searching, deleting, and the that inserting. there was a 4 operation as done on the array, linked list, or anything.
Yeah.
So array has that accessing constant time 1, but the linked list has that inserting and deleting is the constant time, but searching or accessing searching is the end time. So
yeah,
none
I think
of
that is mentioned that you have a pointer to the proper location, and that's
yeah,
why
yeah, that is means the question is that there was a none of the algorithm was mentioned where the constant time for the all 4, isn't it?
yeah.
So the thing is that the last term I designed the one algorithm where the all 4 operation takes the constant time. Only thing is that and that I posted that algorithm on the Discord, sir. So, and after that, I wanted to know that the data was coming more. So, is that any way to? That's why I was asking you question. Is that any way to save that data in the efficient? Otherwise, this algorithm is using constant time in the all 4 operation. Means either accessing.
On which data structures have you done that?
No data structure. I have written some algorithm and only I use the array. Can I can send you the link where the I have.
That is okay, but I have not seen your algorithm whether you have posted it on Discourse. But if you are inserting in between, then how will you do it in order one time in array?
Okay, so what I did that I thought about the n-dimensional array. So instead of one linear, I thought some n-dimension concept. So where I put it the everything on that places. So my concept was there. So suppose if 2-dimension thing I'm putting in the linear way, then there will be collision and I have to insert here to there. But if there is a 2-dimension point, I am taking the space itself is the 2-dimension. That means for every object is the special place. We don't have to write even the hash algorithm because even the hash algorithm has.
Got it. So if you are doing that, do you know how much space constraints you are using?
Correct. The exact correct. I faced that. I stored that 1 million data. It took the 150 MB.
That is why hashing came. Otherwise, hashing would not have come. You could have done everything using direct access data structures like array. Hashing came into being because of this problem. So when you have very sparse data, which has some value which is very small and some value which is very, very large, but you cannot store it in the form of array because it will take, most of the cells will be empty and it will at very last it will store one value. So that's why the main problem of direct access data structure like arrays, that's why hashing came into being. You cannot do like that. That is not a good design.
Isn't it possible if we can arrange to save this data, then
if you save this data, then again you have to read it from the secondary device and that would eat up all your time. Saving you cannot do in primary, right? Because primary is a volatile node. Whatever kind of saving you do, you have to do it in the form of got it. And that would again take time when you read it. That would take much more time.
So
Kumar, what is your n in that case? What is your n in that case?
Okay, ma'am. Actually, suppose what I thought. Suppose phone number is there, no? It is the 10th digit phone number, no?
Okay.
So n is the 10th dimension. I think that why not instead of linearly putting the phone number in one dimension, put on the nth dimension, where for every phone number has individual address. And
so
one
yeah. So what I would suggest is just compute the space complexity of this program. Okay. So the time complexity, the time complexity that we are using, that is based on the Turing machine model, right? Have you learned about the Turing machine model, the time complexity that we are consuming?
Yes.
Yeah. So just read. See, it is not as simple as you think. In the sense that I know that you have come up with a novel idea, but then that involves. So if you put it as 10 dimension, the space complexity kind of becomes exponential in that case.
Yes, a space.
Constant time, but exponential space, right?
Yes, ma'am. And I reduced after writing this algorithm. I wrote another algorithm where I don't need to put even the phone number, because address itself is the quantity. So at the end, I can put the 0 or 1. And in that way, if we can come up with some solution with the space, then I think that entire data of the planet we can access in the just 10 to 15 steps only. So it is the in milliseconds, microsecond sensor will come.
What's the
And
kind of storage that will be needed for that?
correct. That's the question.
You may be able to do it in 10 steps for the entire planet, but you need something like the size of solar system.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm not undermining your thought process. It's actually fabulous. Yeah, it's actually fabulous. But this is a trade-off between space complexity and time complexity, right? I might have exaggerated a bit saying that it might need the whole of solar system.
No.
Your thought process is very nice. That's actually something the people working on the complexity also would think about, the trade-off between space and time. See, earlier when we started off, the computer started off, right? We had time, but we didn't have space. The memory was very precious. But now the memory is something that you have, which is very cheap, and time is precious now, right? So that's why we focus a lot on time complexity these days. Got it? No? So the way you have approached it, it is nice. But even then, even with that, with the amount of space that we have, the idea that you have just suggested might take exorbitant space, is what I'm saying. But if you can come up with a proper model in which, you can say that, okay, even the space that I'm using is only, polynomial, then that is a very nice design. Just try to formalize it. This is what I've always been telling you. You have lots of ideas, but try to formalize it. Otherwise, you won't be able to communicate. Okay. Kumar?
Is there any tool where we can design the database like we have given in, like you have given in the PDF? Because
which one? The database schema?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something called db-designer.net. There are many places where you can. So the one which you can suggest is db-designer.net. And there are so many other places also. I don't remember the exact things, but you can just search, do a quick search. There are many free tools which are available. You cannot use it for commercial purposes, but yeah, I mean, for academic purposes and for personal use, you can do that.
Sure. Ma'am, and the report I held, Nishant sir, their issue was they were hard coding the values of user, password, host, and port. That's why their code was funny.
Okay. Nice. Thanks, Shreyas. Thank you very much. Thank you for solving it. Okay, so shall we wind up the session? It's been like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Kumar, you are most welcome to share these kind of ideas, okay? I mean, it will kind of open up our thought process also, like so many things which we have not thought about. Really nice ideas. So please do come up. We'll definitely try to give you pointers as far as we know about it, or else we'll also discuss with our seniors and we'll try to get back. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, this question I thought and I designed that as the sir, Sudarshan sir was mentioned some constraint there. So that come to know about the only he was talking about the speed. So I thought about the speed, but during the speed, I didn't get the thing about the space. So most of time, whatever we do, even the PDSA, so mostly we concentrate on the time. We don't space. So I don't have a proper idea how to come up with the best space of the thing. I thought there will be some in the core of the DBMS where we can save like this type of data structure manually, or is that in MongoDB or that some NoSQL type of thing, because they using the array. So at the end, whatever the object I created here, it object was just a array. So that's why I asked that question, how to do this. So
yeah, Kumar, I think I also mentioned that, and Govind also gave you some insights that you can store the objects as it is. You can store, but not in all programming languages, but in most of the languages, you can do something called serialization that we will actually teach in Java.
Yes.
So you can do that. But the issue is when you are operating on the data, all this time complexity, all this analysis is done on the runtime basis, right? So when you are reading, when you are actually running the program, you have to again read it from the file, and that would take the time.
But sir, I have one question here. Then how MongoDB or the MySQL or PostgreSQL handling the the terabyte of the more, not terabyte, even there's so much data, and it's ready to give the answer of the client at any moment.
Yeah, so there are many algorithms which actually was working behind it. There is a big infrastructure that is working. So we cannot discuss that in like this, right?
No. To actually answer, see, most of these databases are designed for read speeds. Okay, not for write speeds. Right? All are for eventual consistency. So the MongoDB, it stores data by actually scaling horizontally. It will have different servers, and the data is stored in different places. Okay, and it will read data by creating proper indexes. So index creation is also done in such a way that consecutive primary keys are in same server or on the same disk. They call it sharding. So this technology is used such that related data is placed in the same place. That is how they are able to give the data immediately. But when you write it, the consistency is eventual. Like you will not see the change immediately in different places. Let's say two users. One user is accessing from US, other is accessing from Australia. Australian user, if you're making a write nearer to the US, then Australian user will not see the change immediately. But it will happen eventually over few milliseconds or seconds, depending upon the promise.
I have one point here. Then how the Google database, the real data time is announcing that the moment you update anything, so all over the world, it's update all client moment.
Yeah, that's why I said. So are you aware of the sharding things and all? Even I don't think you are aware of different forms of RAID and how they are working. So we will read that in the next part actually. So once these things are clear, then you will be able to understand. Otherwise, just picking up this stuff, how should I say, small concept and telling, I don't think it would help you in understanding.
Yes, I think
so. Are
so.
you aware of sharding, shadowing? These things are there, but we cannot address that in like this, right? That is not a proper way to address. Okay. So okay, so keep your enthusiasm up, keep reading, you will get to know these are continuous journey. We can't answer that like that. How exactly is it? But generally, if you are storing to answer your particular implementation, if you are storing it in the form of a say, order of one-time access data structure like array, then it would take a lot of space. And I would request you to read any introduction to hashing book or any website, whatever. Wherever hashing came into existence, that is the main reason for this. Okay, except from the security perspective, that is a different case. But hash tables, open any data structure book and read why hash tables came into existence. What was the main idea? In terms of space constraint, not in terms of security constraint, that is something else. Okay, so you will see that this direct access data structure array, it was a big problem only because of the specific reason that you are telling, that you created a huge table and tried to store it. That's why hashing came. That where we try to keep the complexity time in amortized order of 1. It is not exactly order of 1, it is, but we consider that. Okay, and then you actually get that index value and then you do a direct access, something like that.
So on the same lines, let's say I have a list of students and a list of companies for which they apply. Now I have that in Excel. Now problem in Excel is whenever a new company approaches, I have to add a new column over there, right? So it is growing horizontally. Horizontally, it is becoming a huge, like it's scaling up in a horizontal manner, right? Even if we consider it to convert it into database, and if we to avoid this kind of scaling in creating multiple tables, if we try to keep the list of students in first table and the list of companies in second table, then also to know which student applied to which company, we will have to either store the values in the student table in the column 1 as the list of students and column 2 as the comma separated values of which they have applied for. But this will be in normal form 1, then we will have to decompose it. And if we decompose it, then for each student we have, for each student and for each company the student applies, we will have n number of tables. And the worst case would be the natural join of both. Let's say we have 10 students, 1 to 10, and 10 companies, A to J. Then natural join of them, just for 10 students, we will have to create 100 tables. Right.
Yeah, but means got it. But what do you want to exactly communicate?
But then isn't NF 1 would be preferred over here, even though my database in normal form 1, but in storage sense, it's efficient.
Yeah, see, that's the point of normalization is. So when you have to, I did not understand your case study very properly, but see, the main idea of normal form is you have to consider your application and then understand that how much consistency you want and how much speed you want. That's the trade-off. As ma'am also said, I think in normalization when we are explaining that if you go for more normalization, you are decomposing the table more. When you are performing a query and joining multiple tables, it will take time. If you are not doing that, keeping everything in one place, it would take less time, but it will again increase the redundancy and inconsistency. So depending upon that, depending upon your application, you have to decide which path to go and how much to go. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think we would close for today now. Ma'am, is it okay? We should close, right? Okay. So, yeah, thank you all. So
yes, Bhaskar, sorry, I was a yeah, I will wind up now. We'll take up more questions on week 4 to 6 at the Saturday session, and the other questions on the day after tomorrow session. Sure. Yeah, thank you everyone.